YouTube Studio, a place for aspiring YouTubers to experience the thrilling highs of a video receiving thousands of views and many adoring comments, or the abysmal lows of the gray down arrow and the accompanying text letting you know that your latest release was a true 10 out of 10 flop. It's also a place to find quote-unquote inspiration for your next video. Now, this inspiration tab section of YouTube Studio has changed around and evolved a bit recently, but in its current iteration, it will just straight up AI generate not only titles, but even thumbnails and a little bulleted summary you can use for your next video. So, of course, the question is, are these AI generated ideas any good at all? Well, today we're going to find out, because in the interest of science and progress, I'm going to make one of them into a video. To make this as interesting as possible, I haven't looked ahead at all, and every time you go to this page, it generates a fresh set of ideas, so I'm about to give you a totally unfiltered look at my reaction to what it comes up with. Cool AI loading animation. And there we go. It has a set of 5 ideas, and one that it could not create a thumbnail for some reason, but we'll come back to that. So let's go through these. Art versus algorithm. Is YouTube killing creativity? Now, this already sounds pretty similar to another video that I made a little while ago called Is Content Art? From what I've seen, it sort of takes videos that you've already made on your channel and riffs on them. Art versus algorithm. Is YouTube killing creativity? I mean, it's an interesting topic. I've kind of already touched on it, but I wouldn't mind revisiting it. The psychology of viral videos. Why some blow up. Not a terrible idea. I think a lot of people have covered this already, especially in the YouTube advice space, just trying to explain how the psychology of viral videos work. Honestly, I'm not sure. If I was to do this topic, I guess I could see what it generates for me, but I think there's a lot of different factors, so it's kind of hard to pin down. I don't know. This one's a possibility, I guess. Podcast evolution. What's next for audio content? So yeah, again, it's just riffing on a video that I already made about podcasts, which did terribly. That was the one that I showed you earlier on the dashboard, that it was a 10 out of 10. So from a content perspective, from a content strategy perspective, it doesn't really seem like the best move to revisit the podcast topic. So that's going to be a no on this one. The YouTube creator burnout cycle. It's weird it couldn't make a thumbnail for that one. I mean, yeah, I've heard a lot of people talk about that before, right? Like, people always talk about creator burnout, and I guess I can relate to it a little bit. I'm still sort of early in my YouTube journey. Like, I think about burnout as being more for people who have kind of made it, at least made some money on YouTube, and it's just the pressure of continuing their output or the feeling like they can't try anything new. So I don't know if I'm there yet, but it's an interesting talk. It's an interesting topic. From clickbait to click-worthy, evolving your content. I mean, this just sounds super generic, right? Like, the evolution of online content is explored, moving away from misleading clickbait tactics toward authentic and engaging click-worthy content. I mean, I actually don't hate the topic. The title sucks, but the idea, the idea of moving towards stuff that's more authentic and less clickbaity, like, that's a real thing that people have seen on YouTube. Okay, so I've got to pick one of these. So after going through these and looking around a little bit, I think I'm going to go with the first one. Now, again, this is a topic that I have kind of touched on in a different video, but that video didn't get a ton of views, and it's one of those big topics that I think there's always more to say about. I think out of all these titles, actually, I don't know if I would put art versus algorithm first. I think you could really just do, is YouTube killing creativity? That may have been done before, but it's like a decent title in my mind. These other topics, they could be interesting, but all right, we're going to go with art versus algorithm. Is YouTube killing creativity? So, the rise of algorithms has fundamentally changed how content is created and consumed on YouTube. This video explores the tension between artistic expression and the need to cater to algorithms, asking whether YouTube is stifling creativity or simply reflecting the current landscape of digital art. I mean, yeah, that's not bad, right? Like, that's something. See what kind of an outline it has. The evolution of content creation. A brief history of YouTube, from early days of raw creativity to the current algorithmic landscape, how the algorithm has shaped content, from focusing on individual interests to prioritizing engagement and retention, the impact on creators, the pressure to create content that appeals to the algorithm, often sacrificing personal expression for views. I mean, yeah, those are all topics I think people can kind of get behind. I mean, yeah, so looking over all of this, it all sort of has that generic kind of AI sheen to it, where it just feels like, yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with a lot of this. I think these are all decent points, but at the end of the day, I guess it's just intended to help spark ideas that I could put into my own voice. Interestingly enough, it gives you both more titles and more thumbnails. So let's see. So the one that started with is Art vs. Algorithm, is YouTube killing creativity? And now we have some additional ones. YouTube's algorithmic apocalypse. Is creativity doomed? That seems a little unnecessarily wordy. The machine versus the muse. Is YouTube killing art? Fine. Again, I don't think they need to be this long and have these like 2-part sections. Like you could just take, is YouTube killing art? Is YouTube killing creativity? And that's what I would do. The algorithm's iron grip, how YouTube stifles creativity. Fine, whatever. Can you escape the algorithm? Art versus YouTube's control. No, that one's bad. Okay, well, I guess if I take my own license, this is probably what I would go with, is YouTube killing creativity. That's actually close to a title I could potentially see me actually doing on my channel. And as far as the thumbnail, I guess if I'm going to commit to this, I need to use one of their thumbnails. I mean, this is super generic. This is super generic. This is slightly less generic. I guess this kind of, you get like the data strands holding the art. That's a contender. This is, kind of like man and machine type of thing. So I guess I have to go with this one. So I guess the next step here is to open up a Google Doc and start writing the script. We'll get the title in there. Is YouTube killing creativity? I don't know. Maybe I'll just use their full title. I think that would be better, but whatever. So as tempting as it is to just feed that general outline into either the AI within Google Docs or into ChatGPT and have this be a fully AI written script, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the inspiration tab for what I believe to be its intended purpose, which is inspiration. I'm going to take the outline loosely and some of the ideas that it gave me and write something in my own voice. I am not going to try and live stream the writing process because that would be super boring. So I will fast forward to when the script is done. All right, the script is finished. Actually, the whole video is finished. Now you might be wondering, so are you gonna like post this AI generated video idea as like a separate upload on your channel? And is this video more like a behind the scenes making of, or what's up? And yeah, no, I'm not gonna post a video with this title and thumbnail to my channel. This is the video. I realize it's kind of turned into a sort of meta video, but that's fine. Here's what we're gonna do. Just pretend that a video with this title and thumbnail has appeared on your YouTube homepage and you've decided to click on it for some reason. Ready? Creativity, art, YouTube. Is one of these three things trying to kill the other two? I just realized it's kind of funny to be making a video about whether or not YouTube is killing creativity based on an AI-generated idea. Isn't AI generating your video ideas for you like a textbook example of something that actually could be killing creativity? I mean, sure, you can still be creative while using AIs as a tool to augment and help with your creative process. But anyway, sorry, this is veering off into a whole separate video topic. In order to understand what this all means, we need to start at the beginning. April 23rd, 2005. The first YouTube video is uploaded by one of its co-founders. But what is truly in this young man's heart? Does he know how profoundly this video will ultimately go on to alter the course of human expression? Does he realize that what would start as simply a way to broadcast yourself would eventually become a maddening rat race of hundreds of thousands of creators all vying for your attention while simultaneously trying to preserve even a single atom of their own creative integrity? Okay, look, here's what I actually think, or here's some of what I actually think. There are lots of super creative videos on YouTube. Some of them get millions of views, and some of them are little hidden gems that don't get very many views at all. As a small creator, when one of your videos finally does blow up, it seems like the most logical thing to do is to try and recreate the formula that you used in that video. Now, for some channels, when one of their videos blows up, they may actually have a whole catalog of similar videos that are just ready to be discovered. And when those videos start getting recommended to more and more people, it can create a sort of snowball effect where your whole channel starts to blow up. And in many ways, this seems like the best case scenario, provided that this catalog of videos is the type of videos that you enjoy making and want to continue making in the future. But for a lot of people, myself included, your early forays into YouTube video making is often more like a set of loosely connected experiments without much of a cohesive thread that runs through all of it. And sometimes that one video that blows up turns out to be a video that you don't really have any interest in trying to recreate or using as a direction for your channel going forward. If your idea of creativity on YouTube is being able to create any type of video you want and not becoming a so-called slave to the algorithm, then in order to do that, you have to completely disconnect yourself from caring about how many views any of your videos gets. There are very, very few channels on YouTube that can make videos about whatever topic they want and still get a lot of views. And the few channels that can seem to do that have been around on YouTube for a very long time. I've talked before on here about how the success of my Why I'll Never Be a Famous YouTuber video seemed to put my channel into the niche of YouTube channels about YouTube. And for a while I resisted this and continued to make videos about a range of different topics, but none of those videos ever seemed to do nearly as well as the videos that I would make that are specifically focused on YouTube. And in many ways, that's been a bit disappointing, but recently I've been thinking more about the familiar phrase you may have heard that creativity thrives on constraints. There's a lot of ways in which limiting myself to just making videos about YouTube can actually focus my creativity, where on the other hand, like just trying to make video essays about whatever topic I feel like can sometimes be a little bit overwhelming. And my hope is that I can continue to explore and expand this so-called niche in interesting ways that is creatively fulfilling. Of course, I don't know where all this will lead. It could ultimately turn out to just be a dead end, and I might eventually have to make a new channel that is focused on some other type of niche that I find more fulfilling. But I think this whole journey is an important part of the creative process that a lot of YouTubers, both big and small, can relate to. Asking whether YouTube is killing creativity is kind of a meaningless question because, yes, often the algorithm feels infuriating and soul-crushing. It seems like it punishes you for no reason. I felt that way when I released my last video and it failed spectacularly. And yet, I get new and super interesting videos recommended to me all the time from channels of many different sizes. YouTube really is a great way to experience the full spectrum of human creativity. It's just that a lot of times the video that you might feel like you poured the absolute most creative energy and effort into often just doesn't go anywhere. And that can make you feel like you somehow failed in that creative endeavor, or worse, that you actually aren't a creative or talented person at all. And that mindset, that absolutely can kill creativity. But it's false thinking because no creative endeavor is truly ever a waste of time. You always learn something from it, and there's always new ideas, there's always a new video to be made. Even if that new video gets even less views than the one before it and becomes the next true 10 of 10 failure. Anyway, my conclusion on the whole YouTube Studio AI thing is like, whatever. It can give you some interesting ideas. I guess you can also type stuff into it and it'll help you brainstorm that way. I'm sure you could do the exact same thing with ChatGPT, but this just so happens to be directly built into the YouTube Studio interface, and it does seem to pull at least some of its ideas from content that already exists on your channel and has some notion of what type of channel you're trying to become. In many ways, it's kind of an annoying feature, but at the end of the day, it can't, at least not yet, make a video for you. Yes, you can try and go the route of making faceless AI automated channels, which lots of people seem to want to do these days, but at least for now, it can't replace this nice face-to-face interaction you're having of a real person talking into a real camera. It may be able to inspire me to say stupid things, but it can't say those stupid things for me. I'm gonna go now.